Commander Zekthar of the Colonian Empire adjusted his bioluminescent scales nervously as he reviewed the star charts displayed before him. The holographic projection showed a small, unremarkable yellow star system on the outer rim of the galaxy. Sol. System, home to the species known as humans. Sir, his lieutenant Velara approached cautiously. The War Council is awaiting your assessment of the human territories for potential expansion. Zekthar's mandibles clicked in what could only be described as bitter amusement. Tell the Council that I recommend we maintain our current boundary. The humans remain off-limits. Velara's confusion was evident in the way her tentacles writhed. She was young, barely a century old, and hadn't lived through the events that had shaped galactic policy regarding Earth's inhabitants. But, sir, our intelligence suggests they possess only primitive fusion technology and chemical propulsion. Surely the mighty Colonian fleet could— Sit down, Lieutenant. Zekthar's tone carried the weight of experience. Let me tell you why. Even the bravest warriors in the galaxy don't cross that boundary. The commander activated another holographic display, showing a timeline spanning several decades. 43 years ago, the Zarathi Dominion made the same assumptions you just voiced. They were apex predators from a high-gravity world, with technology centuries ahead of humanity. Their battlecruisers could glass entire continents, and their warriors were genetically engineered for maximum aggression. Velara leaned forward, her interest piqued. The Zarathi invasion fleet numbered 2,000 ships. They expected to conquer Earth within a solar rotation. Zekthar paused, his expression darkening. Instead, they encountered something that defied every military doctrine in the galaxy. The hologram shifted to show battle footage, grainy but unmistakable. Human ships, seemingly fragile compared to the massive Zarathi dreadnoughts, moved with impossible coordination. But it wasn't their technology that had won the day. The humans didn't fight like any species we'd encountered before. When cornered, most civilized beings surrender or retreat. Humans? They become more dangerous. The Zarathi discovered this when they began orbital bombardment of human cities. Images flashed across the display. Massive Zarathi ships, suddenly, going dark, their hulls breached from within. The humans didn't just defend their home world. They infiltrated the invasion fleet. Soldiers who had somehow survived atmospheric entry and vacuum exposure, using nothing but primitive exoskeletons and sheer determination, were cutting their way through ship after ship. Velara's tentacles had gone rigid with shock. That's impossible. No organic being can survive in space without proper environmental suits. Tell that to Commander Sarah Chen and her Voidwalkers, Zekthar replied grimly. Humans, it seems, have an extraordinary capacity for adaptation under extreme stress. What should have killed them only made them more resourceful. The display showed more footage. Human ships ramming Zarathi vessels at full velocity, their crews still broadcasting defiant messages even as their vessels disintegrated. Civilian cargo haulers retrofitted with stolen Zarathi weapons, piloted by merchants, and farmers who had never seen combat before. But the most disturbing aspect wasn't their resistance. It was their unity. Humans who had been fighting each other in bitter conflicts suddenly set aside centuries of differences to face a common enemy. They shared resources, technology, even their lives, with a coordination that our best military strategists still study today. Zekthar switched to intelligence reports. Within 6 months, the humans had reverse-engineered Zarathi technology. Within a year, they had improved upon it. The final Zarathi transmission from their homeworld was a desperate plea for mercy as human ships appeared in their skies. "What happened to the Zarathi?" Velara whispered. "They still exist, but as a client species. The humans didn't exterminate them. They offered them a choice: cooperation or extinction. Most chose cooperation. Those who didn't, well, let's just say that human creativity extends far beyond engineering." The commander closed the display and turned to face his lieutenant directly. "Since then, 17 different species have attempted to test human resolve. 17 species have learned the same lesson. The humans don't expand aggressively like we do. They don't seek to dominate. But when threatened, they become something that defies classification. Sir, surely our military could— Lieutenant, our greatest military minds have run simulations. Even with our technological superiority, the variables surrounding human behavior make victory uncertain at best. They fight with an unpredictability that turns every battle into chaos. They use their own deaths as weapons. They convert their losses into motivation for their survivors." Zekthar activated one final image, a simple message broadcast across all galactic frequencies. "To all species considering hostile action against Sol system, you are welcome as friends. You will be met as enemies. Choose wisely. United Earth. Defense Coalition. The Galactic Council's decision to maintain the boundary around human space wasn't born from diplomacy," Zekthar explained. "It was born from fear. Fear of a species that views impossible odds as a challenge rather than a deterrent." Velara absorbed this information, her worldview fundamentally altered. "What makes them so different, sir?" "Evolution, perhaps. Their homeworld is a death trap. Natural disasters, predators, diseases, extremes of temperature and weather that would kill most spacefaring species. They evolved not just to survive, but to thrive in conditions that should be impossible. When you take a species forged by such a crucible and give them technology—" He gestured helplessly. "So the boundary remains." "The boundary remains," Zekthar confirmed. "We trade with them. We exchange cultural information. Some humans even serve as advisors to various fleets, but we never, ever threaten their home or their people." As Velara prepared to leave, Zekthar added one final thought. "Remember, Lieutenant, courage is not the absence of fear. True courage is proceeding despite understanding exactly what you're facing. The humans taught us that the bravest thing sometimes is knowing when not to fight." The lieutenant departed, leaving Zekthar alone with his thoughts and the distant view of Sol system on his charts, a small yellow star that represented the greatest military mystery in the galaxy.